A 28-year-old man buys a small gray house in Omaha, Nebraska for $31,500. It has 5 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and a modest front yard. Nothing fancy, just a normal middle-class house in the middle of America. That man is Warren Buffett. Today, he is worth over $120 billion. He is one of the richest people on the planet. And he still lives in that same house. For more than 65 years, Warren Buffett has refused to upgrade. No mansion, no private island, no fleet of supercars. Just the same gray house in Omaha. This is not about being cheap. This is about psychology. Warren Buffett's brain is wired differently than almost everyone else. And understanding that wiring is the key to understanding how he became one of the greatest investors in history. Warren Buffett was born in 1930 in Omaha during the Great Depression. His father was a stockbroker and later a congressman. Money was tight, but the family was stable. From a very young age, Warren was obsessed with numbers. At age 6, he bought 6 packs of Coca-Cola for 25 cents each and sold individual bottles for a nickel, making a small profit. At age 11, he bought his first stock. He was already thinking about compounding. Most kids at that age are thinking about toys and games. Warren was thinking about how money grows over time. That early mental wiring is critical. His brain developed a natural attraction to delayed gratification. He understood, even as a child, that waiting and letting money grow is more powerful than spending it now. As a teenager, Warren had multiple side businesses. He delivered newspapers. He sold golf balls. He bought pinball machines and placed them in barber shops, splitting the profits with the owners. By the time he finished high school, he had saved over $9,000, which in today's money is roughly $100,000. Most teenagers would spend that money on a car, clothes, or entertainment. Warren invested it. He went to college at the University of Pennsylvania, then transferred to the University of Nebraska, and later attended Columbia Business School to study under Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing. Graham taught him a simple but powerful idea. Buy stocks that are worth more than their price. Find companies trading below their intrinsic value and wait. The market will eventually recognize the value, and you will profit. This idea became the foundation of Warren's entire investment philosophy. After graduating, Warren returned to Omaha and started a small investment partnership. He asked friends and family to give him money to invest. He promised them returns, and he delivered. Year after year, his results were extraordinary. He was not taking big risks. He was not gambling. He was simply finding undervalued companies, buying them, and waiting. In 1962, Warren started buying shares of a struggling textile company called Berkshire Hathaway. The stock was cheap. Over time, he bought more and more shares until he eventually took control of the company. Then he did something unusual. Instead of trying to fix the textile business, he used Berkshire as a holding company to buy other businesses. Insurance companies, candy companies, furniture stores. Anything that was undervalued and had strong fundamentals. Berkshire Hathaway became his vehicle for compounding wealth. And it worked, slowly at first, then exponentially. But here is the key psychological difference between Warren Buffett and almost everyone else. He does not care about status symbols. He does not need a bigger house, a faster car, or a more expensive watch to feel successful. Most people tie their self-worth to their possessions. They need external validation. A luxury car signals success. A mansion signals wealth. Designer clothes signal status. Warren's psychology bypasses that entire system. His self-worth is not tied to what he owns. It is tied to the process of compounding. He gets satisfaction not from spending money, but from watching it grow. Psychologists call this intrinsic motivation. Most people are extrinsically motivated. They want money because of what it can buy. Comfort, status, admiration. Warren is intrinsically motivated. He wants money because of what it represents. The elegance of compounding, the game of finding value, the intellectual challenge of investing. There is a famous psychological experiment called the Stanford Marshmallow test. Researchers gave young children a choice. Eat 1 marshmallow now or wait 15 minutes and get 2 marshmallows. The children who waited, who delayed gratification, went on to have better life outcomes decades later. Better grades, better jobs, Better relationships. Warren Buffett is the adult version of the kid who waits for 2 marshmallows. Except, he does not just wait 15 minutes. He waits 65 years. And instead of 2 marshmallows, he gets $120 billion. That is the power of delayed gratification at scale. Most people cannot delay gratification for even a few months. They get a raise and immediately upgrade their lifestyle. Bigger apartment, nicer car, more expensive dinners. Warren gets a raise and reinvests it. He lives below his means, not because he has to, but because spending money does not give him pleasure. Compounding does. Another layer of his psychology is his relationship with risk. Most people think Warren Buffett is a risk taker because he invests billions of dollars. But actually, he is extremely risk-averse. He avoids risk by only investing in things he understands. He calls this his circle of competence. If he does not understand how a business makes money, he does not invest. He famously avoided tech stocks during the dot-com bubble in the late 1990s. Everyone else was getting rich on internet companies. Warren stayed away. People called him outdated. They said he did not understand the new economy. Then the bubble burst. Trillions of dollars vanished. Warren's net worth kept growing because he was not exposed. That is not luck. That is psychology. He is comfortable saying, "I do not know," and walking away. Most people cannot do that. They fear missing out. They fear looking stupid. Warren fears losing money more than he fears missing an opportunity. There is also his time horizon. Warren Buffett does not think in quarters or years. He thinks in decades. When he buys a company, he plans to hold it forever. Most investors are constantly looking for the next trade. Buy low, sell high, repeat. Warren buys and holds. He lets compounding do the work. This long time horizon changes everything. If you are thinking short-term, every market drop is terrifying. If you are thinking long-term, market drops are opportunities to buy more. Warren's psychology is built on the idea that time is the most powerful force in investing. The longer you wait, the more exponential the returns. Most people do not have the patience. They want results now. Warren is willing to wait 30 years for a stock to reach its full potential. That patience is a psychological superpower. Let's go back to the house. Why does Warren Buffett still live in a $31,500 house when he could afford a $100 million mansion? Some people say he is cheap, but that is not it. The house is comfortable. It has everything he needs. Buying a bigger house would not make him happier. Psychologists have studied this. After a certain income level, more money does not increase happiness. The phenomenon is called hedonic adaptation. You buy a mansion, and for a few weeks you feel amazing. Then you get used to it. The mansion becomes normal. You need something bigger to feel that high again. It is a treadmill. Warren stepped off the treadmill in 1958. He decided that a modest house was enough. And because he never upgraded, he never adapted. He is still satisfied. Meanwhile, he took all the money he did not spend on mansions and cars and reinvested it. That money compounded for 65 years. If he had bought a $10 million house in 1980, that $10 million would be worth billions today. By not spending, he did not just save money, he multiplied it. Warren Buffett's daily life reflects his psychology. He wakes up in the same house. He drives a modest car. He eats breakfast at McDonald's, usually spending less than $4. He works in the same office in Omaha that he has used for decades. He does not have a computer on his desk. He spends most of his day reading annual reports, financial statements, news articles, books. He reads for hours every day. Reading is how he finds opportunities. It is also how he avoids mistakes. The more he knows, the better his decisions. Most people do not have the discipline to read for 6 hours a day. Warren does it because he enjoys it. Again, intrinsic motivation. He is not forcing himself. He is doing what he loves, and it happens to be the thing that makes him billions. One more psychological trait: humility. Warren Buffett is one of the richest people in the world, but he does not act like it. He does not wear expensive clothes. He does not fly private unless necessary. He does not name buildings after himself. His ego is not fragile. He does not need constant validation. That humility allows him to admit mistakes. When he makes a bad investment, he talks about it openly. He writes about it in his annual letter to shareholders. Most people cannot do that. Admitting you were wrong feels like losing status. For Warren, it is just data. The investment did not work, so he moves on. This ability to separate ego from outcome is a massive psychological advantage. It allows him to learn faster, adapt quicker, and avoid repeating mistakes. Here is the lesson for an ordinary person. You do not need to be a genius to apply Warren Buffett's psychology. You do not need to pick stocks or build a billion-dollar company. You just need to understand a few principles. First, delay gratification. Every time you are tempted to buy something you do not need, ask yourself, what would this money become if I invested it instead? If you invest $1,000 today and it grows at 10% per year, in 30 years, it will be over $17,000. That is the power of compounding. But only if you wait. Second, live below your means. This does not mean live like a monk. It means do not inflate your lifestyle every time your income goes up. If you get a raise, save or invest the extra money instead of upgrading your car or apartment. Third, think long-term. Most people make decisions based on how they will feel next week. Warren makes decisions based on how things will look in 20 years. That shift in time horizon changes everything. Fourth, stay within your circle of competence. Do not invest in things you do not understand just because everyone else is doing it. If you do not know how something works, walk away. Finally, focus on intrinsic rewards. Find satisfaction in the process, not just the outcome. If you only feel good when you hit a goal, you will spend most of your life unhappy. If you enjoy the journey, the daily habits, the learning, then you are happy regardless of results. Warren Buffett's decision to live in a $31,500 house for 65 years is not about being frugal. It is a reflection of a psychology that values compounding over consumption, patience over instant gratification, and intrinsic satisfaction over external validation. That psychology allowed him to turn a modest income into one of the largest fortunes in human history. And the most remarkable part is that his method is not complicated. It does not require genius-level intelligence. It requires psychological discipline, the ability to wait, the ability to ignore social pressure, the ability to stay focused on long-term goals even when everyone around you is chasing short-term pleasures. Most people have the intellectual capacity to build wealth. Very few have the psychological capacity. Warren Buffett does. And that is why he is worth $120 billion while still living in the same house he bought in 1958.